Hey guys, my bad for no video the last few days. I was traveling and so couldn't find a stable time to record. But because of this, we're gonna be doing daily uploads again for at least the next week. And when I say daily uploads, I mean both what if Goku was like Dr. Gero and what if Goku was the reincarnation of Whis. So I want to be doing a part of both of them each day. So hopefully we can keep it up. And thanks for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. So anyways, here's the next part of what if Goku was like Dr. Gero. So we left off seeing a time machine at the present timeline, and we see that there's an egg inside of this time machine. The egg hatches, and out comes a larvae form of cell. It turns out that this cell comes from an alternate timeline where he was able to regenerate and kill both future Trunks and Gohan. However, due to his weakened state, he had to go back to his larvae form to regenerate to 100%. So now, he basically goes around the present timeline, slowly building up his strength, absorbing people, and taking their energy. It's actually Gohan who sees this first on the news, and is quite surprised that people are simply disappearing, as that doesn't normally happen. So he decides to go with Android 16 to investigate, and what happens is very unfortunate. So Gohan and Android 16 go to where they can feel a combination of different keys, almost like all their friends bunched up into one. And as they go closer and closer, a dust cloud goes in front of them, and Gohan can't see around him as his vision is blinded. As once he can see again, he sees Android 16 on the ground with his head off of his body, which scares Gohan as he doesn't know what did this to him. And as he tries to look for the head of Android 16, he sees that Android 16's head has been crushed into pieces, which enrages Gohan as he shouts out in rage, transforming into his Super Saiyan 2 form. As he tries to find who attacked him, he feels something sharp pierce his back, as he can feel his energy being slowly drained. And just in the nick of time, Gohan manages to swipe at this thing absorbing his energy and cut off its tail, as he then flies off to try and escape, knowing that he does not stand a chance in his weakened state. Gohan flies back to tell the other Z fighters what had happened, and they're all surprised as this reminds Goku and Dr. Gero of Cell, as they both are surprised as they think that they destroyed Cell in the future timeline, and that one of their timeline is still in incubation, so it can't be him either. So, as they're still thinking about it, suddenly something stranger even happens. This was actually Android 17 and 18's vacation day. So basically, it was the one day that they didn't have to protect Capsule Corp. So they decided to go on a road trip. They were traveling around the area, learning more about the city. And they'd quite fallen in love with the wilderness, as Android 17 even starts thinking of becoming a park ranger. So as Android 17 tells Android 18 that he's going to use the bathroom, and he steps out, by the time he comes back, he finds Android 18 nowhere to be found. And by the time he looks around, he sees Android 18 being absorbed by Cell. As he launches to try and save his sister, he is too late as Cell manages to complete his absorption, as he then goes into his imperfect form. And on top of this, Android 17 stands no chance, as this is a Cell from the future. And on top of this, it's now at his semi-perfect form, meaning he's much stronger than before, as he then launches at Android 17, defeating him and reaching perfection. The power of this perfect Cell is felt across the whole planet, as every single Z fighter flies immediately to see what has just happened, as they then see perfect Cell marveling at his own power. Vegeta, Raditz and Piccolo try launching at Cell at the same time to try and defeat him, but they are nothing at his immense power. as they're so surprised at how strong Cell had actually gotten. As Cell says, "I'm finally perfect at last. Now I demand of you, Earthlings, send me a fighter who is worth my while, or else I will destroy this whole solar system." As everyone knows, Cell is not bluffing because due to Frieza's DNA, they know he can breathe in space. At this point, they know that the only two fighters that they have that might be able to stand a chance against Cell is either Goku or Frieza. As they then decide to tell Cell to wait at least 2 hours for Goku and Frieza to come from where they are. As it turns out, Goku and Frieza were nowhere to be found. Gohan and Vegeta, using their ability to sense for Goku's ki, managed to send a telepathic message to him, telling him to come to where they are as soon as possible. So, Goku and Frieza both appear in front of Cell, both looking a bit worse for wear with their uniforms damaged. As they then look at Cell, not too worried and not too bothered, as Cell says, "Okay, which one of you will fight me first?" As Frieza then says, "I'll fight you." As Goku says, "Yeah, I think it wouldn't be a fair fight if I fought you, so it's better if Frieza does," which annoys Cell, but he allows it for now. As Cell and Frieza then embark on their fight, Cell then says, "Where I come from, you have a different form, even stronger than this one. Stop holding back on me." As Frieza then says, "Are you sure? Well, it's your funeral." As Frieza then launches into his fifth form that he unlocked after Goku tells him about it. As now that this Frieza has been training with Goku consecutively and has his extraordinary potential, this form is actually much stronger than the one in the future and is giving Cell a run for his money. Cell is actually put on the back foot and is actually surprised on how strong these guys have gotten. And just when Frieza launches a blast to kill Cell, everyone thinks that the fight is over, that Frieza had easily destroyed Cell. But what they did not know is about Cell's regenerative abilities, as from one remaining cell left, he regenerates into his super perfect form. As now Frieza is at the backhand of Cell, as Cell manages to swiftly defeat Frieza, as he even absorbs some of Frieza's energy, becoming much stronger. And for safe measure, he decides to do what he did to Android 17 and 18 to Frieza, as he thinks this would make him even more powerful. As he then, in front of everyone, launches a ki barrier and a solar flare. And once he's done, Frieza is left on the floor, barely alive. Cell didn't have time to fully finish him off, so Frieza still has some energy left in him. As now Cell bulks up and then says, "Now I see what true power is. Behold my new form," as Cell transforms into his own variant of Frieza's fifth form due to the increased power he has now gained from Frieza. As Goku then says, "Well, okay, this has gotten a bit tedious, but I guess I'm gonna have to be the one to sort you out." As Goku then launches at Cell, using his Super Saiyan 3 transformation. Due to Goku's enhanced stamina, of course, this means that it's gonna be easy for Goku to keep on using this form, as he doesn't have to worry about running out of energy. As Cell still seems to have the upper hand, and Goku can see that this is going to be a very tough battle to win in his current state. So Goku then says, I didn't want to use this since Vegeta found it first, but you know what? If I need to, I need to." As Goku then launches a power ball in the air, becoming a great ape, while in his Super Saiyan state, and then shrinking back down to a Super Saiyan 4. As Vegeta then says, My Kakarot, of course you had to copy the Prince of the Saiyans. Well, welcome to the power of the Saiyans, as Goku is quite impressed at his current strength with his form, as he can tell that this is many times stronger than Super Saiyan 3. As Cell looks at this form and realizes he's gonna have to do something new himself in order to keep up. As Cell then decides to launch his Kaioken that he managed to copy. As Cell, using his Kaioken form, manages to match against the Super Saiyan 4 state. So, it goes punch for punch, attack for attack, and eventually both of them start getting tired, as this is draining both of them. And Goku realizes that if he's gonna destroy Cell without him coming back and getting a Zenkai boost, he's going to have to do it decisively, as he decides to test out that technique that he forced Krillin to teach him, the one on top of the Kaioken, the Spirit Bomb. As in this scenario, Goku was not 100% pure of heart, so he could not really use it the way that Krillin is able to. However, by this point in the series, I would say now he has actually become a kind of person, and he fulfills the requirements to use the Spirit Bomb. But just in case, he came up with his own spin for this technique, as he then starts launching a few light punches on Cell. Cell is very bewildered at this, as he doesn't really feel much from the punches. However, after a few punches, he starts realizing that something is wrong. He feels himself getting weaker and weaker, until he looks up and he sees his energy being condensed into a ball, as he then actually drops out of his Kaioken state due to the amount of energy that has been taken from him. As on top of this, Goku then uses this energy and then adds it to his Spirit Bomb, as he then throws the Spirit Bomb to Krillin to hold, as Krillin feels his body holding this large sum of power. As on top of this, Goku keeps punching and launching at Cell because he does want to save Android 18 and 17, as he then splits Cell from Android 18 first and then Android 17, as Cell feels himself becoming even weaker than before. As now, Goku decides to finish Cell off, as he then says, "Krillin, do it now, you have my support," as Krillin throws this giant Spirit Bomb at Cell, with Goku adding the rest of his remaining power into the Spirit Bomb, as Cell cannot hold this back, as he feels himself getting disintegrated bit by bit, until he's basically about to be erased from existence completely, as Goku, using a containment device that he keeps on him for DNA purposes, decides to take one remaining cell away from perfect Cell, of course, as Cell then gets disintegrated, while the last remaining piece of him is sealed away in Goku's technological tube to be researched on and experimented with. As now the team is exhausted and weary after defeating Cell, and even Goku was given a run for his money, as now everyone decides to celebrate this, as they go have a quick celebration and they have peace for a few years. During this time, Gohan tries resurrecting Android 16, but the Shenron tells him it won't be possible due to the fact that Android 16 was purely mechanical. However, this reminds Goku and Gero about Gero's son, the one that died in the Red Ribbon Army base all those years ago, as they then resurrect Dr. Gero's son. And in this scenario, since you get resurrected in a similar state to how you died, he's resurrected, however, he's in a very injured state, as Goku then decides to use his tech with Dr. Gero to try and enhance him and make him stronger and more adjusted to this current fighting landscape. As now, for simplicity purposes, I'll keep calling him Android 16, even though that's what they probably wouldn't call him. But yeah, so Gohan spends time with Android 16, the new Android 16, trying to show him everything that's been happening ever since he had died, and basically creating that uncle-nephew bond similar to before. So now, there are a few years of peace. However, I wouldn't say it's a whole 7 years like the original before the Buu saga, because the amount of energy that was felt throughout the universe alerted a lot of different enemies, namely Babidi, as Babidi then flies straight on to planet Earth 2 years after the defeat of Perfect Cell. So that's where I'll be leaving this part. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, have a great day, guys. See you all later.